Good evening, Mr. Onix. I've heard there's been a recent event of importance.
Yes, a recent event that's making me uneasy.
Would you care to elaborate?
Recently, there's been an increase in drug abuse around Poir-Origin City, but this drug is turning people into large, bulbous animals. The police can't even fight them at this point. We have to leave it to Doctor Oxhyde while we evacuate civilians.
Well, that's certainly descriptive. I assume that's why there's been construction from the carbon charities, damage control around town?
Downtown, yes. It's more concentrated there. It's sparse outside, which I would say is best, with there being more civilians and factories on the outskirts. It would be disastrous if there were any out that far.
So, you're saying that it is fortunate for the destruction to take place downtown?
Well, unfortunately, it does seem to have its benefits. Oxide's agencies being next to the city park and the CSC being just shortly nearby, whomever gets symptoms from the drugs are usually being taken care of pretty quickly.
How many people would you say have been affected by the increase of violence? And would you say this may be a result of escalation?
Escalation?
Yes, with a man who can control such abilities like Oxide, wouldn't you think it would be an attempt to counteract him?
Oh, I try not to think about it. And while I can understand where the curiosity is coming from, it seems a little too sudden. Maybe an old enemy who had a hand in his creation, but other than that, I wouldn't say so.
So, you wouldn't say that it was the recent gang activity that has been causing this?
Yes, I wouldn't. Gang activity has been on the decline for a while. Oxide has a really fancy way of taking out the clutter in the vacuum cleaner, if you will. He puts up many agencies whom he funds around the city, and it allows that spot to be used. So unless the area is retaken over, which is unlikely in and of itself, there is little opportunity for gang activity to take place.
And the affected civilians?
Chaos. All of it. Last time I checked, there's been over 127 people injured, 17 of which were killed.
That's horrible.
Not as much as it's killing the trust in the city.
Pardon?
With the police force being unable to act in these situations, it paints the picture that we can't actually be bothered to protect people. Not to mention how many officers are starting to go missing.
Missing.
Yes, missing. My officers aren't coming back from missions. We started checking around houses and apartments, but we can't figure out why. We even spoke with their families, but, well, suffice to say, even they don't know where or why.
That's horrible. I do hope they could be found soon.
I do too.
Well, I believe that will mark the end of this interview. I would like to ask if you know the next time I can meet with Mr. Oxhyde. I would love to speak with him as well.
He's been in his lab recently. Some form of rat experiment regarding the drug. He should be in tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Onix.